Motivation. I'm motivated. But what do you do when motivation is not enough? You rely on your work ethic. You rely on your discipline. That's my mentality. Now let's get it.
I'm used to that.
Hey everybody, this is Julian with Mentality Podcast, back again with another episode. I'm excited today. I have I don't know if we call him the famous YouTuber Nathan, but I'm excited. I'm actually a fan. I watch your stuff all the time. So it's great to have you on. How's it going?
Good. Just another day in Florida.
So it's sunny out there, right? Y'all didn't experience this bad weather like we did.
No, where do you live right now?
Missouri.
Oh, Missouri. Yeah, I don't know nothing about Missouri weather, but no, actually, the weather here is, and it's kind of overcast. Florida, it gets this like people think it's always sunny here,
right?
But it's actually rainy a lot here too. I mean, we have beautiful sunny days, and we won't see rain for maybe like a month or something.
Right.
But then you always got to expect if you get that month of sunshine, you're going to get about a month of rain constantly. But like I'm used to it. I like it. Like the humidity is fine to me. When I first moved here, I hated it coming from Las Vegas because it's dry, but I got used to it now. It's cool.
Yeah. So real quick, I asked Nathan to take or do this podcast in front of that prestigious collection of shoes.
Oh yeah,
on
you
purpose.
Can even see them.
Oh. Because if y'all think I'm a sneakerhead, and a lot of my friends that listen to stuff think I do, Nathan's collection completely craps on mine, y'all. So I wanted to talk about that. And my first question for you, bro.
What's good?
Top 3 favorite shoes of all time.
Definitely Jordan 1, 100%. I think that has to be on everybody's top shoe. I'm not really picky about colorway, but if we had to say colorway, obviously the Chicago, because that's pretty much the grail, you know?
Yeah.
Another top, I like Jordan 4s.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like Dunk SBs.
Okay.
Yeah, just because of my skateboarding culture.
Train. Yeah, so you actually skateboard. I think I tried to do an ollie one time and busted my head like wide open.
Yeah.
But I like SBs. Jordan 1s are definitely number 1 on my list.
Yeah, I think Jordan 1 always has to be on the list of everybody's top sneakers.
I'm a big Forces guy. Like I love
Forces. Okay.
Ones. Yeah.
See,
yeah.
I like Forces, but you have to like half size down, or the heel pops off every time you walk, and I hate that because
I wear like a 13 normally. All my Forces are 12.
Yeah,
and they fit comfortably too. Like
you have to do that because there's a slip out, and I don't like to choke the laces. I kind of like to leave them relaxed. So I think when you choke, like just my personal preference, when it chokes, it just looks kind of, I don't know. I don't like the way it looks. So I kind of like to have it loose. So I always have to size down. I have a few pairs that are 11 and a half. And the only ones that actually fit me really, really good are the Off-White Air Forces, the ones that are broken down, and not the new blue ones or the Complex Con ones, but the black ones, the all black ones or the Volt ones. Those ones for some reason fit really good, and they're more comfortable than a normal Air Force One. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if you saw this, man. Did you see my big blunder last week that I posted?
Oh, the Jordan ones, the ones that
accents that I missed out on,
bro. I would be heartbroken.
I was just like, "Are you?" I literally have been there going for those 4s, the taupe.
Yeah.
And topes. The topes, and like Sneakers app messed me up on that because I got them, but then they said there was trouble processing my payment.
Dude, I had that same thing with the Fear of God ones.
So
the OG, the very first Fear of God ones that dropped, I got them, right? I got the PayPal notification and they never charged me and it just disappeared.
Same here. So in the midst of that, I go to my your little inbox.
Yeah.
And I see them and I'm like, wait, what?
I would be heartbroken.
I'm like, there's no way. And so then I go and check all my notifications and I'm like, crap.
Sometimes the sneaker app doesn't tell you that you have exclusive access. Sometimes you have to wait about 10 minutes before they drop, go into it, go into the actual shoe, and it should have a little toggle on top or a little banner that says exclusive access. Sometimes though, it doesn't even tell you, and it only tells you on the desktop. So sneakers it's a really weird interface. Like sometimes they'll let you know, and sometimes they won't let you know. And in your position, you'll see after the fact. And you know, those Jordan 1s they're going to be a problem.
Bro, I was like, I'm looking at the value of them already, and I'm like,
stupid.
I was in tears. So, did you hear about the story that just got broke yesterday?
Oh yeah, about the Nike VP.
Yeah.
Or was she a VP? Yeah,
yes,
the son
the VP.
Doing reselling. I read an article. I read the article last night, and I'm not sure if he was getting him, like because connections with Nike, or maybe like he was just reselling and buying them, like I guess correctly, or how a reseller would do. But I think like because she's vice president of Nike, I think that was an issue, right? I could be wrong, but
so what it said is she's the vice president of the North American region and Nike, and she oversees Sneakers app.
Okay.
So I think that's where like the fact that he's a reseller and he used her credit card to buy.
I saw that too.
Stuff. And I don't know if that was the reason, because my first thought was, well, what exactly is wrong if he's separately doing this? He just happens to be her. But then at the same time, I'm like, bro, he got to have some She's the VP at Nike. Like, he had to have some type of access to, and then I seen all the pictures, like they posted of him, and I'm just like,
crazy.
He had those, the grade 5.
I think he found like 5. He found multiple pairs of Air Mags in a storage, which is insane.
And then I seen a picture. He had those Jordan 5s, not the off-white, but not the cells, the gray joints.
Okay.
He had like 25 of them in one picture.
Yeah, it's pretty nutty.
Like calculating the money, I'm like, those sell like what, 800, 1,000? Like that's a lot of money just sitting there.
Yeah, the reselling market is insane. It's almost disheartening, because if you strike out on a shoe, then you have no choice but to pay that resale price. And I can't tell you how many times that I've paid resale. Like most of my collection, I've won a lot, but I've also paid a stupid amount to the aftermarket price, and that sucks, man.
For sure. So, you got anything you looking for coming up?
I definitely want those. I think the dunks. It's not an SB. It's that crazy patchy
City
dunk
Market.
I was gonna say City Pack, but yeah, the City Market dunks. Definitely those Carolina Blue Jordan 1s. And I don't really know. I want to get the VX dunks.
Is it
the VX 3000 dunks or 3000? I forgot. It's supposed to simulate a camera that we used to use skateboarding. That was the camera back in the day to use. All the filmers had it when we film skating. Those are pretty dope. They're not releasing here in America. So if I want them, I have to buy aftermarket, and I think the aftermarket prices. I have a bid for like 400, but I definitely don't want to pay more than 400. But I think they're going for like 5 or 6. It might drop, just like the one Tokyo bus, the one with the dog on it. Those ones dropped significantly, and that's when I copped those.
Yeah, I cannot wait too, because even like Forces, like the the Valentine's Day Forces that just came out.
I struck out.
I went ahead and bought them on GOAT for like 180.
Yeah, they're a good price.
In my mind, I'm like, I can buy them now. It was like 2 weeks before they released. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, if I buy these now, 180 is really not that much to spend over what they cost.
Yeah, you're pretty much paying a Jordan 1.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I did that, but I do that for some shoes. But speaking of that, dude, I got a pair of dunks that I don't know if you know I have. I have the McRad SB dunks. Have you seen
which
those?
Ones?
McRad?
No, show me them. There's so many dunks in the world, like I can't even keep up. Oh, I've actually seen those. Those are really sick.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of history, because it's like the first black skateboarder to ever be on Thrasher.
Really? Who was that? Who's the?
I think his name was Kevin McRad or something like that.
Okay.
But he was the first black skateboarder to ever be on Thrasher magazine. So it has like the 84 on it, because it was in 1984 and all that. I try to buy shoes that have some history to them sometimes.
Sure.
So I got like a lot of Dornbircher like stuff that I'm like, that has a story behind it. I really like the fact that that has a story behind it, so I can try to explain it to people, even though I just butchered explaining that one to you.
The Dornbecker collabs.
Yeah, I said Dornbecker. Yeah.
Yeah, those ones I've yet to be able to. I've tried for every single Dornbecker
Yeah.
drop. I've never been able to get one in the past, I think like 4 years.
Yeah. So I go on GOAT and get them, and I
Yeah.
don't have like the Jordan 8 or the Jordan 15s because those are crazy. But like these are Dornberger.
Yeah, the elements. I remember when those dropped.
They're only like, and I got them for like 170, bro. Like there
Yeah, those
wasn't.
are dope.
Yeah,
I
but
like
you
the
know what I
color
mean? Like
too.
I have a, I have a budget that I try to keep within, until I can really start paying because my wife be trying to kill me.
Oh yeah. I feel you on that one. Every time every time a package comes up to the door, I try to run it to my room real quick. And then like, I've done this before. And then like later she'll like Livia will be like, what are these? I'm like, oh, I've had them for a few months.
That is my like bio. Like literally, I do that with my wife all the time.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm like, yeah, I've been had these.
Yeah, I feel a little ashamed inside. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have lied to you. It's not that I didn't lie to you. I just didn't tell you. That
Right.
was it.
Right. And I've had them for a while. Could mean 2 days, 3 days, 2 months,
Yeah.
whatever.
You didn't know? You didn't know I had them? They've been there. I thought you saw them.
Exactly. So, like for those listening or watching, like I said, Nate's a YouTube guy. The way that I actually started watching you was I was watching Eric the Electric.
Okay.
And you popped up. So I'm like, who's this guy? And I clicked. And I'm like, oh, I vibe with this dude way. Like, I love Eric the Electric too, but I'm like, I vibe with this dude way more. Like, he likes shoes, like the whole thing. So, when did you get started in YouTube? I've seen videos that are like 5 years ago for you.
Yeah, so. Like I think I got started I created an account in 2011, but I didn't upload anything. I think it was 2014 or 2015, or I think it was 2014. I started doing workout videos. And okay. Yeah. And how I even got started was I would watch religiously like YouTube fitness. Like I was watching Nick Wright bodybuilding.
Yeah.
He's like really old school. I was watching Brandon Campbell. I was watching Chris Jones. I think everybody watched Chris Jones. Like Physics of Greatness.
I came up with. Yeah, that's what I came.
Yeah. Physics of Greatness.
Started it. Yep.
So I was like watching those channels religiously, and I had just moved to Florida in 2013, and I was going to school here. I was working, but then I was bored because I didn't know anybody here. I was taking care of my grandmother. So I was like, what can I do in my time just that I'm not doing anything? So I just ended up ordering a camera off of eBay. I think a Canon T3i. And then I just started bringing it to the gym and filming it with me. And that's pretty much how I got started. The whole food stuff, just that kind of started by accident. Like I know that during that time, that full days of eatings in a full day of eating in the fitness industry, or in fitness YouTube, I should say, was really popular. So then I started doing full days of eating, how I like what I eat in a day and stuff. And, the challenge stuff came later. When my buddy, I don't know if you know who RZ Fitness is.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, yeah. So he was doing like these crazy, like he was doing like 10,000 calorie cheat day, and I'm like, how is that even possible? So then I was like, okay, I was super at that time too. I was like really focused in the fitness. Like I wanted to be like a bodybuilder. I was like big, and then I would like diet down and get super shredded. So when I was doing that super shredded stuff, I would have cheat days or refeed days. So I would use those refeed days, and then I would just film a video eating pretty much everything. I would cap it at a certain point, but I would just do this crazy refeed day, or I'd have like a pizza, burgers, like donuts, or just whatever I really wanted to eat in that day. And then I would just recover for the next like 14 days or however long. Yeah.
Right. It's crazy because like I watched a lot of people now. As far as fitness goes, I still do that. And I'm like, Same. I still get crazy enjoyment out of watching guys eat like day in the life.
Yeah.
Stuff and like see what they're eating and how they go about it. But as far as the challenges, bro, I have tried so hard do like 5,000 calories, and I can't. I am astonished by how much you can eat.
Yeah, it's you know that it's not like any like first people typically can't eat a lot of food because your stomach is only so big. So in order to like be able to have room in your stomach, you actually have to, it's stupid, but you actually have to stretch your stomach to be able to do that. So like when I got into food challenges, which that was an accident, by the way, I'll just quickly say that my buddy on Facebook hit me up. He's one of my only friends here. He's like, hey, I'm doing this burrito challenge in Fort Lauderdale. And he's like, do you want to come watch? I was like, sure. He's like, or do you want to try it? I'm like, how big is the burrito? He's like, it's like a 7-pound or 6-pound enchilada. And then I just started doing research and figured out how I was going to be able to eat because I was like, I can't do that. I figured out a way to do it. So I went to my friend Randy Santel's website where he gives all this information on how to do it. He's like, go to Walmart, buy a massive watermelon. He's like, stuff yourself with lettuce, all these like micronutrients and stuff that's not super calorie dense, strawberries and things like that. So I went, bought like maybe 5 or 8 pounds of like vegetables and fruits and stuff. And I literally just stuffed myself with it. And then the next day we went to do it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to film this for my YouTube channel. And then that's kind of like where that part took off. So you have to like kind of train. And then like the people that are like next level, they do like some pretty crazy stuff to be able to consume like 20 pounds of food. It's insane.
So do you remember MTV Diaries, like True Diaries, or
of course, I do remember that show.
So they had a competitive eater episode, and it was a guy. It was Kobayashi was on it, obviously, because he's
always.
But it was a dude named Tim Janis.
Oh, I know him.
He used to wear the like face paint or whatever.
At the Nathan's Hot Dog.
He was like training, and he was doing that. He was eating like 10 pounds of lettuce. Every night, and he said it is stretch. It's crazy you say that because he said it like stretches his stomach out to help him prepare for it. Like, I remember that. So and Randy Santel, you just did like you're doing challenges with him right now. You just did the steak one
and the crawfish one.
Yeah,
we're gonna we have one lined up next week. So we're gonna do like a pizza thing. He's gonna be in Florida for like the next, I want to say, month. I'm supposed to do one with his girlfriend. In Orlando. We haven't really set that in because it's kind of a big one and she's nervous about it. But I mean, I told her if, push comes to shove, I'll do what I can do, so we don't fail the challenge. But yeah, Randy Santel's here. He's been a good friend since like 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how'd you like crawfish, man?
What's up?
How'd you like crawfish?
Crawfish. Okay. So crawfish is cool, but I don't think it's worth the amount that you get from a crawfish. It's like crab legs. Like, you get those small crab legs and you have to do all that work to break them open. And then you get this like little sliver of meat. That's not worth it for me. That's way too much work to get a minuscule amount. After that challenge, I had to eat a normal meal, by the way.
Right.
Because that literally was probably like maybe 800 worth of, and that I don't even think like maybe 500 calories worth of some type of protein.
So it's like it's a Southern thing.
For sure.
My dad and a lot of their family were from Houston. Like I'm from Oklahoma, but my dad's side is from Houston. So I remember going down there and like for birthdays having 30 pounds of crawfish just thrown on the table and everybody go crazy. But like I used to get mad because my aunts and my uncles can eat. Like my dad is like, he's losing weight right now. He just had weight loss surgery. My dad's like 6'5", like 400 pounds.
Okay.
Like massive, like way bigger than I ever will. It skipped my generation, I guess. And so like all that family is kind of bigger like that. And they would just go to town and I'd get like one plate of crawfish and be like, where is it at? Like, it's my birthday. I would get pissed. Like, this is my birthday. I don't get to eat. Like you said, it's not fulfilling unless you're willing to sit there for almost like hours.
Yeah.
Eat a crack and continue to eat. And so, like you said, same thing with crab legs. It's just, I don't ever eat those things to fill up. It's just the enjoyment. Like that makes perfect sense. Like you're not eating crawfish for a meal. Like you're just probably eating that just because you like the taste of crawfish. And the way they did that crawfish was really good. The flavoring in it, and then you like
I guess, suck the juices from the head,
Yeah.
right? Which I like when I talk about it now in retrospect, it kind of just sounds disgusting, but they flavored them really, really good.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things you just kind of do it out of enjoyment. You know, I heard that people like eating crab legs, right? Because it's almost like a therapy for them.
Yeah.
They break it open and they'll just sit there for like an hour just eating crab legs. And it's not to get full. It's just because it's like therapy for them.
Yeah.
So that could be it too.
So what's your favorite challenge?
Dude, I've done so many challenges. You know what? There's this one challenge. Randy Santel was going to do it while he was down here in Coral Springs, but he skipped that one. It's a barbecue challenge, and it's owned by the drummer for what's that band's name? Not Led Zeppelin. I forgot his name's Nico McBrain. Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden. So he's the drummer for Iron Maiden. He owns he owns a restaurant 5-minute drive from my house.
Oh, okay.
And they offer this insane barbecue platter, right? And it's called Appetite of the Beast. And you have ribs, you have pulled pork, you have barbecue chicken, you have corn, you have cornbread, you have all these really amazing barbecue dishes. And that was probably I've done it once, and then I ordered it and brought it home and did it again, right? That was probably my favorite challenge, just because everything was super, super tasty.
Yeah. I mean, so apparently, like Missouri, Kansas City barbecue is supposed to be like this big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody from Kansas City watching, I'm not impressed at all with the barbecue here. Like, it is hype way too hard, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like, I've had better barbecue in Texas, Oklahoma. I'm a sauce guy. I don't know about you, but like, I like barbecue and I like meat, but I like a really good barbecue sauce.
Oh, for sure.
It's very vinegary here.
Okay.
I like more sweeter sauce.
Oh yeah, same here.
Difference.
Yeah, same here. I like tangy. I like barbecue tangy. Like I'm not like I like some vinegar, like vinegary stuff, but not too much of it, because then it kind of just destroys whatever you're eating. It's just too much. But barbecue sauce, I can put as much barbecue sauce on anything and I'll be fine. Like a sweet hickory barbecue sauce.
Yes. Yeah. There's
a huge fan of that
barbecue sauce they make Oklahoma that's not really, it's called Head and Country, and it's like amazing. I'm gonna send you a bottle. Like, I'm not playing either. I'm gonna send you a bottle, and you let me know how it is. My mom like made me a gift basket last year of just like Head and Country sauces, because I'm like, I can't find it up here, and send it to me because that's like my favorite. Yeah. But just to kind of keep going, so you started YouTube. You said like videos, what, 2014?
Yeah, like old school training vids.
Right. So and then you transitioned into the eating challenges and stuff.
Yeah.
Is it always like you're almost at 500K, or you might be now? Last time I checked, you're like 498, I think.
No, not that high yet. It's like my channel was like plateaued for a little bit, but it's starting. Right. It's finally starting to pick back up.
Okay. So, but even in that though, your views are really consistent. Like, from everything I see, your views are pretty high. Really for the most part. So were there any difficulties like starting up, growing your pace? Because you do this full time now?
No, I'm actually I do YouTube is part-time. It's always been part-time. My actual job is a freelance video editor, or I'm sorry, a freelance videographer and editor. So we shoot weddings, we shoot real estate, we shoot products, we do headshots, we do stuff like that. And then YouTube I do on my days that I have free. And with the pandemic, a lot of the work that I had, like, because we had an entire year booked, like all of 2020 was booked for weddings, and everything's been canceled. And still we did one like a few months back, but still all these, and most of them have already been like, they had their payment already made. So we're just waiting on them to finally, figure everything out to be able to continue on that. Even my cousin, Christina, she had a wedding set for last year in August, and then she postponed it till this year in August. So did
you go to school for that?
No, this is all self-taught. Yeah. I've been playing with cameras like even before I bought a camera in 2013 or 2014. I was always using I used the old school cameras with the tapes. So like the VXs, the VX 1000, 2000, 3000. So I would use those cameras for filming. I never actually really owned one, but I'm the only person that actually knew how to use it because a few of my friends had it, and they would just have me do the filming for them.
Okay.
I didn't edit back then. I learned how to edit like when I started this YouTube. I just knew how to film back then and work cameras.
Right. So, and are you like, you're freelance? Is that just your company? Like that's your thing, or you work with someone, or?
Well,
I don't know if I'm like digging
so
too far deep.
freelance is like pretty much you're like a free agent, right? You can pretty much book jobs how you want. I do have a partner, especially when it comes to weddings, right? I have two other partners. The person that actually books the gigs, and then Rob and my other partner Rob, we film it, and then I do all the editing. So we get all the footage, and I do all the editing, and then they have revisions. They have 3 revisions, and then I have to make it's usually how the package works. It's usually they have a full length, meaning like not unedited unless they want that. They want the unedited videos, clips, but it's usually I have to build a story, like a full length story out of it, and then I have to and some of them want it, some of them don't, and then I have to make a teaser. I really never understood the teaser part. I guess it's for social media, but they want me to make like a 1 or 2 minute like teaser type thing showing like just the highlights of the wedding.
For social media.
Yeah. I never understood that because a lot of them don't even post it on social media, and they don't want it posted on social media.
Right.
So it never really makes sense to me. But I guess the person that handles all the business part, he puts it in the package. So I guess that's just what it is.
Well, I wish I would have known you back there. I get married. I actually just had my 4th anniversary, 3 days ago?
Okay, congrats.
So thank you. So during our wedding, I had, I believe, one of the like top 5 greatest groomsmen intros ever created.
Oh yeah.
And nobody videoed it.
Oh damn.
Nobody. So like I had the DJ play the Chicago Bulls intro music.
Oh yeah, nice.
Like walked in and like he introduced all the grooves and like had me come and I run through. Like it was, I see ESPN repost somebody's exact video like 2 years later, and I like lost it. I'm like, that could have been me. Like, but nobody videoed it. And maybe it was my fault because I didn't tell anybody. Like,
well, how long ago was that?
We got married in 2017.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have no excuse. You should have had that filmed.
I have none at all.
I was going to say, if this was like 5 years ago, when like before like video really, like especially the video market for weddings, I mean, it was always big, right? But now it is massive.
Yeah.
Like, people are making, like, I got a friend, he does the wedding stuff full time, and he's making a killing, but he's doing these like Indian weddings, and they're like spending millions of dollars on weddings and stuff. He'll fly to New York and do those like big gigs. I'm not at that level. Maybe one day, but I'm not there yet. I don't have the connections he does.
Are you like, could you, and again, if I'm asking you two deep questions, just let me know as far as like into your person, but like, could you do YouTube full time?
Yeah, I could definitely do YouTube full time. The reason why I never wanted to, like, even in the beginning, I'm like, I don't want to make YouTube a full-time thing, is because so first of all, there's caveats to that, because if I was making a ton of fucking money off of YouTube, like, I mean, a ton of money, I would definitely make YouTube full-time, right? I make like, the amount of money I make is good. I can not work like my other jobs, but I don't want to rely on that and stress myself out, forcing myself to have to upload videos, right? And then because I need that income,
right?
Like, I just want that to be supplemental income. Right. It buys, like, it helps me buy cameras and equipment, shoes, and things like that. So that's why I've never really, I never wanted to stop my other businesses, because like if YouTube were just to disappear tomorrow, it's highly unlikely, but the 1.001% chance it did, I want to be able to still not have to worry about having to pay bills and having to stress out about those type of things.
For sure.
And that's one. I'll just say that's one thing about social media. If people, or like, let's say YouTube, for example, if people put all their eggs in one basket, right? Mm-hmm. And things like, and YouTube is very luck based. Like it's you can put out some really great content, right? But it's not always guaranteed that you're going to make money off of putting that great content. And if people were to see that great content, right, they would be, you know for a fact that people would love it. But it's about your videos being suggested, right? And a lot of that is just pure luck. You have to have a good thumbnail, you have to have a good title. A lot of that is pure luck. And how people have hacked the system today is they've learned how to make insane thumbnails or crazy titles or exaggerated stuff, and you know they kind of use that to their advantage. I don't want to have to, like, I guess, touch my girlfriend in her boob, you know, or you know, she did what, you know, she cheated on me, or you know, some crazy thing like that. I'll never stoop to that level for like monetary gains.
A lot of the couple, like, so I watch like some of the couples that do pranks on each other, and a lot of them do that. Like, it's walked in on or something like that, and it's just like you click what happened, and it's not even close to that, you know.
Because you know, it's the, I guess, clickbait culture, right? Because if they see, a lot of people, they see oh my god, I got to click on that, and you know they'll watch it, and they'll be more likely to, if like they see the content, maybe if they have a lot of subscribers, they're more likely, hey, I'm going to subscribe because this person, you know, has, you know, millions of subscribers, or like, you know, hundreds of thousands of millions of views. I guess that's just the way it is now, you know, but it is what you just got. I guess you just kind of have to roll with how everything moves.
Right. So did you have any like difficulties or struggles growing? Like, you know what I mean? Was there, or was it just kind of?
For sure. I think everybody who has a channel goes through one of those, like, they go through like mentally how frustrating that YouTube can be, because my views aren't what they used to be. Like I don't care though. That's the thing. Like I'm not stressed out about getting, you know, 100,000 to like 500,000 views videos, right? Like I used to get like maybe like 100 to like 500. I used to get those views like every single video in the first day. I don't care no more. Like how my views do now is they grow over time. So eventually they kind of get up to like, you know, maybe 80,000 views or something. And I'm super happy with that. You know, I'm not stressed out about that, but that can be a really stressful thing to another person or to an average YouTuber. And you know, that's why I was saying that you want to separate, like, you don't want to make this a full-time thing. You want to have at least a backup plan, because those type of things is just going to make YouTube an unpleasant experience for you. You'll be like, why am I not, like, you'll start to doubt yourself, like, oh, nobody likes me, like, why are people not watching my videos? Well, like, why is this, why is that? You'll start comparing yourself to other people, like, I should be there and I should do this, and like this isn't fair. So you never want to put yourself in that predicament. So like it can, like, I force myself to be okay with how it works, because YouTube is not a linear path. It is all over the place. You'll have like really good months. You'll make super good money, right? You'll have good views. And in the next month, you may do shit in views, and you may do shit in, like, you know, in money. And that's just kind of the way it works.
Right. That's crazy you say that, because I was talking to somebody the other day. And again, first of all, thank you for being on here, because I know you're a busy guy, so I appreciate that. But like,
no, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. This is fun. You know, this is fun.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been trying to push content out consistently, just because I like to be able to give a lot of different perspectives and different views. And I'm not just talking about fitness. Like, we got YouTube got on, I got one of my barbers on. This, like, I got all over the place. But one of the things I wanted to say was, like, I am on this because I actually love what I'm doing. Like, I love this. So the impact, I've had like 2 or 3 people that have listened. They've reiterated what they've heard on the podcast. They tagged me. Like, that's enough for me. Like, that made me happy, because I do eventually believe if this grows or when this blows up, that's awesome, but I'm not in it for that reason. And so I get what you're saying, because when I, like, probably 2 or 3 years ago, I was on Instagram. I started like a new page. So this is before I like followed you and all that. But my life was about getting followers.
Yeah.
I don't even have good workouts because I would like get a pump and I'm like, I gotta go to the mirror and like take a picture. I gotta post this. I gotta hashtag it. I gotta post it this time because West Coast people look at their phone at this time. And I'm just like, that is not healthy.
Like, no, it's like it's a really unhealthy way to think about it. Then you're just consumed by numbers and like engagement and stuff, and you stop having fun with it, right? Like you should, and I mean now you're doing things that like I guess are going to help other people, right? And you're not so focused on trying to do like the number part, the analytics of it, because I tell Livia this too. It's the worst way to go about anything, right? It's the worst way because if it doesn't work out the way you want it to work out, right, then you give up. If you don't get immediate results, then most people give up. But it's a journey,
right?
You know, you like that's the great, like in life, you never know what's going to happen in the next month, in the next week. Something can always happen, but you kind of just have to, if you enjoy what you're doing and you're doing it right, you're going to help people. You're going to feel some type of accomplishment in doing that. And I think having that feeling is for me it's way better than having any type of like massive audience. Like for me, like if you can help a person, right, or you can feel that you're genuinely doing something for a community, to me that's way bigger than anything else.
Right, for sure. So as far as like you said, you're not in it for the views. You started your page and it kind of grew, and it's like you said, it's linear, so it's not just a straight line or path to it's doing everything it is. So
it's everywhere. It's like the stock market.
So have you, as far as being a YouTuber, I'm pretty sure in Florida now, like, are you recognizable? Do people like walk by like, hey, bro, like that? Like, how is that? Has that changed for you?
Yeah, it's always weird to me. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. It's still weird to me. And like that happened to me in Greece of all places. We were a few years back, we were just island hopping on Livia's dad's yacht, right?
Right.
And we went to this place, and it's not a big city. And I remember we went into this grocery store because we were getting supplies, and I'm checking out, right? And this guy like looks at me, and like I thought he was looking at me like I stole something or I did something wrong.
Right.
Like, oh, you, I watch your video. I'm like, oh, I was like, crazy. I thought I did something wrong. He's like, dude, right. What? He's like, that's crazy. Why are you even here? I'm like, oh, like we're like, I guess, vacationing and stuff like that. And yeah, it's always weird to me when somebody says they watch my videos. I don't know why, but I'm like, oh, you watch my videos? Why? You know, I'm like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Because I'm still not used to it. I don't think I'll ever be used to it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Like that. And it's crazy. One of the girls I had on, Liz, like, I was like, bro, you're never going to believe who I got to like get on here. And she's a real big foodie person. She's a fitness chick, but she eats more than I do. Like, she's growing right now, so it's crazy. And she was like, who? And I was like, he likes to eat. And so her first guess was Nick. And I was like, oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's close. Not bad. She was like, wait, no, not they. I'm like, yeah. She was like, yo, I love him. I love him and his girlfriend. And I was just like, okay, it's cool to see somebody is equally as excited as I was. I'm a fan of when you like agreed to do it. But it's crazy because you are just like a regular person. Like, you answered my messages. We went back and forth on Facebook. We talk about shoes. And I'm just like, the celebrity, I guess, aspect of it, even for me, doesn't seem as real because you're such like a laid back person. Like, you don't act.
There's like, it's the whole like celebrity thing is crazy to even like, that's not even like when I think of celebrity, I'm thinking like Justin Bieber,
right?
Drake,
right?
Justin Timberlake, you know, those big guys. I'm just a person that uploads videos on YouTube.
Yeah. But you give people joy out of doing that. Like, I look forward to watching videos, number one, because I'm normally in like a diet or a prep. So my mouth, like, I'm just like, oh my God, like that looks amazing. But also just like, it's cool to watch. Like, even when you started, like, and I noticed you don't do it as much, but even like you and Olivia, like when y'all are on together, or you were in Germany, like with her, I think, and you were visiting, like, even that's cool to see. And I know a lot of people get that. So my next question, obviously there's a downfall to this. And I think we've talked about this before. people being a little bit too involved in your business.
Oh yeah, it really sucks.
How do you deal with that? Because I know basically what I'm doing here, I'm asking you questions because I've been talking about this. It's a lot of surface level, especially with social media. So everybody sees like your videos, they see the Instagram, they see the Facebook, and they're like, I want that. And I'm like, well, really? Like, do you? Are you sure? Because I got like friends at the gym that want to be these like YouTube stars. I'm like, are you guys really sure that's the step you want to take?
Yeah,
because it's a lot that comes with it and a lot that you have to do to get to that point. So that's basically what I'm trying to talk about.
Yeah, so as far as like the whole like getting into your personal life, yeah, that shit is really annoying because people feel that they have a right to know every single detail about your life. And we, like Livy and I, we made this like agreement, like when we went through our little phase, that we weren't going to, after that, we weren't going to post any like personal stuff online. Like that's why I haven't really done Q&As, right? Because Q&As, like I'll answer like normal questions, but I haven't actually done a real Q&A in like 2 or 3 years, just because I there's certain things that I don't want to talk about, right? So yeah, it's annoying, and people, they feel entitled to like, they feel that they need to know like what's going on,
right?
And and how I handle that is, or we handle that, we just pretty much ignored everything, stop. Like I don't really go through messages on Instagram. Like if you go to the message request part, right, and you see all the other messages that never really make it into the actual tab, I don't go through that. Like I did it yesterday, the very first time I've ever done it, right? And I just going down like, Jesus Christ, I missed all these messages just going through. And I'm like, I didn't even know. Like, and there was people that like, I was like with check marks and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh shoot.
Right.
But I didn't respond just because I think it's a little past that time. But yeah, I just kind of have to roll through it and just get past it and not kind of let other people's voices affect your own personal life. And that's another reason why I stopped going through the comment section on YouTube. I even said this in a YouTube video. I don't go through the comment section because I don't want to be subject to see something that I don't want to see and don't need to see. And I appreciate all your guys' support that come and watch the videos and leave the comments. You guys can have a conversation down there. But for me, in my own mental space, I don't go down there because I don't want to affect the rest of my outside, my real world days. It's not worth it to me. It's not worth it for me to be upset at something that's meaningless.
All right. And so that I'm assuming that's happened in the past.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I would get heated up when I'd see something, right? And then I'd start typing, right? And then I'd stop because I'm like, what am I doing? I'm talking to somebody, or I'm responding to somebody that has no effect on my life. Zero effect. But if I respond, I've made it affect something, and then they win. They got something out of me, and I don't want to give that person that out of me. I don't want to give them that real estate from me. So I decided to, if I'll go to the comment section every now and then, at least as of recently when I was doing some Randy stuff, but for the most part, I tried to stay, and especially after like the first like maybe hour or two, I'm out. I'll never go back to that comment section again.
Right. Now that's good to hear, because I even look at it for like this. I prepare myself because I'm a bit of a fiery,
a hothead. Yeah, I see some of your posts on like Facebook and stuff.
A little bit of a hothead, and I love debating and I love doing that. But even my mom, like that's one of the things she told me. She was like, "When do you start this? Like you're gonna have to just like not look or just go the other way." Because not everybody's going to agree with you. And there are going to be people that like I had one person, and I won't say their name, but they like literally commented, he's in his closet on a video. And I'm like, I'm not, but okay. And I wanted to respond and be like,
but even if you were,
what does it matter? You're right.
Exactly.
Coming on my video and typing that. But I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to get at any energy. And I'll just like walk off.
And look, if you're in a closet, right? That's a big closet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
like if I had a closet, like my closet in my master bedroom is tiny. It's so small. Like, so if I had a closet, I can put a desk in there and a computer and a bunch of like wall of shoes. I'm gold, man. You know, that's a massive closet.
Right. So, but yeah, I'm preparing myself to not do that, especially with what I'm trying to do. And yeah, I just know that there's gonna, especially when we get into certain topics that are gonna be a little bit more, I guess, tensive, like more tension to them. Like even one of the guys I talked to, we talked about like racism a little bit and social justice on the last one. If people start to watch that, there could be some negative just because that's the era that we're in, you know.
Oh no, like you're always gonna have somebody that's going to challenge you on those type of issues. Like that's something you'll never be able to win. Like that's the world we live in. So it's either like, you know, you can read it, but that's those controversial topics like racism or, you know, any of those ones. There's always going to be people that disagree with you. Like, I mean, if you looked at the recent, I mean, obviously you did, you live in this world or United States, the recent election with, you know, Donald Trump and Joe Biden, like the world was a line. You have Trump supporters and you have Biden supporters, right? And anything you say, if you go on Facebook, if you say something about Biden or if you say something about Trump, it's an invitation to a debate or an argument.
Yeah.
I've watched friends unfriend friends over these issues on Facebook.
I've unfriended people and not just like friends. Like we talk about people I grew up with, like with the high school with.
That's what I'm talking about.
Some of the stuff they post, I was just like, no, like there's no way you feel this way. And we like came up together. Where was this at? You know, the first 15, 16 years of our lives that like, so yeah, I feel you. But that's another thing that I'm trying to do as well. I'm trying to like push more positive content and things like that, even though I'm not afraid to talk about those issues. I don't know if Facebook is the place to be. It's too much courage on Facebook to have those type of conversations. And then at a certain point, even if you give somebody all the facts and all the stats and all the analytics that back your point and it's there, they don't have to agree with it. No. You know, like at the end of the day.
Look, you can let's for example, you can tell somebody that, okay, we'll talk about Trump, right? You can tell somebody that Trump did this and this and this and this and this, and you can have proof of all this stuff. But if that person's a Trump supporter, even though he did all these things, they'll never listen to you. Never.
Nope.
And like there's some battles that you'll never win. Like if you like, let's say there's somebody that you look up to, right? And he's a bodybuilder, like massive bodybuilder, and he says and you're like huge fan of him, and he says he's natural, right? But everyone's like, are you stupid? That dude's on gear. And you like defend him like, no, he's fucking natural. And you know, but clearly he's on gear. Right. But if this person's a massive fan of him and they're trying to tell you the truth and you hate gear for some reason, like you'll still be a fan of him.
Right.
That's just, I mean, it's weird, but that's how people are.
No, 100%. You're correct.
And you can tell people the truth about something and they just won't listen because they're too stubborn.
Right. And that's kind of where I see, like, I personally don't feel like, I know a lot of people talk about like social media and how it ruins relationships and all that. I don't agree with that. Like how you use social media is still social media. So like, I'm married, bro. I'm not going on social media trying to inbox chicks, liking all these photos and stuff. I respect my wife. Like I know better than to do that. I choose social media that way. Just because somebody else does doesn't mean it's social media's fault. But I do agree. I think that, like I said, social media has created this surface level view for people not to really like get in detail and understand things. And the same thing with like the debating and arguing. It's really easy to just be, I'm a Trump supporter or I'm a Biden supporter, and somebody can come to you with legitimate information and you just say no. One, because you're behind a keyboard, so you can do that. But two, you're just shutting off everything. Like you don't care.
You're not willing to listen.
Not willing to listen. And social media made that easier because you're technically not listening, like you're reading. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just makes it like the communication aspect makes it a lot different.
Yeah. And about the like social media, like ruining relationships, I think that really depends on the people that are doing it, because social media can definitely destroy a relationship. I've seen it happen a few times. But but it's really how you handle social media. If you can separate, you know, your own life with social media, you'll be fine. As long as, you know, like you're not inboxing anybody and you're not falling for that trap. And I would say also there's nothing wrong with trying to grow, you know, your social media. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody should be like everybody wants that. Everybody wants their social media to grow. Like whether they say they don't, they do. Like everybody just likes to see that, right?
Right.
If you're not so like being in a relationship and you're focused on that, and you know that can really hinder things because you don't have time for, you know, your own personal time, or like you need to definitely separate that.
I agree. I would even say like now combine that with being a bodybuilder.
Oh yeah, it's pretty tough.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, bodybuilding is pretty like, I mean, I did it, and then, you know, you had to like at one point I was around like how much do you weigh?
Right now, like 228.
Yeah. So at my peak, when I was like, you know, I was juicing hard.
Yeah.
I was at maybe 235.
Really?
Yeah. This is back in 2012. And you know, the crazy thing is I have like, at that time, I have like no pictures of myself because I wasn't
ask that. You got the pictures?
I wasn't using Instagram. I wasn't using anything.
Right.
But I started taking photos when I started getting leaner.
Right.
So I have like photos like somewhere, like I think I have some on my IG, but I have like photos where I'm pretty shredded. Right. I have like striations everywhere. But yeah, bodybuilding can be like, and that in a relationship, if you're trying to, because you have to eat, like, you know, you're very picky about what you're eating. And if you're like, on top of that, if you're one of those people that are like really time sensitive, so like I have to eat my meal at 2:00 and then 5:00. And I used to be that way too. I used to get pissed off if my meal wasn't consumed by like 12:00. I'm like, oh man, I have to, there's nothing I can do right now at this time in my life. I have to eat my meal.
Right.
That's how I used to be.
Right.
But, you know,
so I am not that way.
Yeah. I'm not either.
Yeah. But it's still the same process though. You know what I mean? Like you're still trying to eat every 2-3 hours. You still can't go out to eat as much. You are spending about an hour and a half, 2 hours in the gym. You are waking up early. Like before we got on this call, I did my cardio, came home, you know, got ready, ate. So yeah, you do all that. And then like you said, if you are doing that plus trying to grow your social media and doing all that, like you don't really have time for nothing else.
Yeah.
And so I think that, like I said, I had to learn kind of what you said, where it's not about the views and the content. If that happens, awesome. Do I believe it'll happen one day? Yeah, of course. I believe in myself. So I'm going to be confident about it. I do think this will grow. But I don't aim for that because I know what I've been through already. Like I lost myself trying to be like this Instagram influencer. Just wasn't there. And I don't know about you, but I also noticed that like when you're making content and you're creating content, a lot of people will watch your stuff and not say a word to you.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
You're like especially when you're starting up. Like I've had some people like randomly message me like, hey, like I really like your videos, I'm like, you ain't like nothing, shared nothing, or anything. Right. You know what I mean? Like I had no clue until you sent that to me. And that also opened my mind to the fact that like you can influence and not have 300 likes on a post.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I have like videos that have like, you know, 100,000 views, right? And they have like 3,000 likes on a video. And like, you would think out of 100,000 people that watch this video, you have 3,000 likes, right? That's a really small percentage. Or, you know, and you'll have maybe like 400 comments or 500 comments. That's still not that many people. Right. You know, people come, they watch it, and then they leave. They move on with their day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just crazy how that works. So I'm glad you said that because it is. Again, I know I've already told some like people at my gym and stuff, bro. Like I'm having you on because they've had to ask me questions about influencing, you're creating content and all that. And I'm like, I know your perspective would be great for them to hear. It ain't all just rainbows and sprinkles and like. And
if anybody thinks it's all rainbows and sunshine, they're incredibly wrong. And even like even when you're a bigger channel, right? When you're a bigger channel, that's even more stress. Like but some buddies of mine, I'm not going to say their channel name, but they have a few million subscribers, right? And their channel is really struggling right now. And like, you think that, I have like, a few million subscribers, right? I have, and they've talked to me about this, and that's why I don't want to say their names or whatever. Like,
yeah, no,
they've talked to me about this, right. And right. You're like, what am I? They're in this position. They're like trying to put this content out, but they don't know what's going to hit. So they're trying to figure it out again, because in the past they were getting like 5-10 million views, like videos, right? And they're in that stage, and that's where it can get really, really stressful, because you feel like you're doing something wrong, and it's like, and you're trying to question it, and like you're at the point, this is my full-time thing. What am I gonna do? So like even at a bigger scale, it can get really, really stressful. People think like, oh, once I hit that million, life's gonna be good. Like it's gonna be dope. Like I won't have to, I could do this full time. I can do this. I can do that. It's still tons of work. I'd even say, even when you get to that threshold, it's probably more work to try to stay relevant in that scene.
Right. So, as far as what I've noticed, some people, like you said, when they're struggling to develop content, they start doing crazy stuff, like feast stuff, the clickbait stuff, like you said. I noticed that you pretty much stay the same in all you do. I think the most I've seen you do that's most different was the skateboarding thing, when you started kind of incorporating that back into some videos and throwing some edits to that. I saw a couple of that. So was that something you made a conscious decision to do? Like, I'm going to stay in my lane and do this? Or have you thought about kind of branching out like other people have, or like what's that like?
As far as my my YouTube channel, it'll probably that'll be it for that. It'll just be food related. It won't ever go anywhere else. If I was to ever start a new channel, and we did, but we still have a channel, but right now it's we're not using it, and it has like I think it has like 10 or 15 or maybe even 20,000 subscribers, but it's not being used right now. Because I don't have the time for it. And also Livia started posting videos on it, but she doesn't have the time since, she's finishing her school now. And she's starting her real estate journey. So she doesn't have time for that either.
Granola thing too, right?
Yeah. It's that granola stuff is hard work. So she's trying to figure out how she's going to make it sustainable. Cause right now it's not sustainable. It's just it's a hurt. She does everything. I help her with packaging. I help her with making the granola, because we have a kitchen down the road, making the granola and all that stuff. But she's come to this conclusion, wow, this is a lot of work. And like at this point, we don't have the luxury to just hire somebody and do this. Right. So we're trying to strategize on what we can do to we have to be realistic with ourselves if we can keep doing it, because she sold a lot of them, right? She's very overwhelmed with that process, and you have to put in mind is trying to juggle all this stuff worth doing all this stuff. This business can exponentially grow into something huge, right? But do I have the time to do that at the moment of life? So we're in that predicament right now. So she's given some thought at the moment. She's still selling them right now, and she's still packaging stuff up. But yeah, we just have to be realistic with a lot of things, because if it's not making her happy, then it's not something that you don't want to do something and not be stoked about it. You want to do something and be happy about it. No one wants to have a miserable job, right? Right. So we're looking at it that way.
Okay. Nope. Yeah. So. That's cool. And I didn't know that she was in school and all that stuff. Like I had no clue.
Yeah, she's been in school the entire time. Like she does online school at FIU, Florida International University. So she doesn't have to actually go to the campus, because that's all the way in Miami. So she does it just online, and that's a lot of work. And she's
online school is tough,
a semester.
Online school is tough. Like I don't I tell people that all the time. I've been like I went to school for a really long time. And I had to transition. I actually I was pursuing my PhD. I was a year away from graduating and I stopped. I'm like, I'm done. Like I can't, but that was all online. And it was basically what you said, like with her and the granola, but it got to the point that like I used to enjoy school. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I was learning. It was a goal that I was setting and accomplishing. But when we moved, my wife started going to chiropractic school. So that's a whole new change. She's almost done. Which by the way,
free chiropractor.
Yeah, by the way, and if we move to Florida, she's gonna open her own office. So just let you know. Come through, bring the camera too. No,
absolutely.
But so it got to the point where I was going to work 9 to 5. I was going to the gym, and then I would have to come home and do discussion questions or a big paper, and I was like miserable. I was miserable. I was stressed, like tired. It's hard work because it's on a different level, and it's something that like I went into with no experience and what I was learning, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like I had lost myself basically, and I'm like, I'm almost depressed because it's just like I don't feel like I had a life. I had everything I wanted to do plus that.
Yeah, you definitely have to take care of yourself, in those type of scenarios. And if you're like truly feeling that way, right? You're just like you're like a ticking time bomb. And you don't want to get to that level. And then also, you're young. If you ever decided to want to finish that in the correct mindset, then you can always do that. Life is, you have a long life. You can always, like, life doesn't stop.
I highly doubt I ever go back to school ever.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. But just
if I do, it'll be culinary school, bro. Like, I want to learn how to cook, or it might be like,
I'm huge on cook. Like, I love cooking stuff.
Bro,
no, I'm sorry. I suck at cooking stuff, but I love watching people cook stuff.
Come here. I'm like, so Bobby Flay is like one of the top 3 people I want to meet in my life. Like, seriously.
How about
The Rock, Bobby Flay, and then for some reason, it was Kobe, but RIP.
Yeah.
Now Mark Wahlberg took the 3rd spot. Why? I don't know. I just thought they were like cool growing up. So, but yeah, I remember, speaking of that, I still haven't tried it. You made like a pepperoni grilled cheese something that I have to make. Like I keep forgetting to do it because I'm like dieting. But one of my cheat meal days, I'm gonna make that thing. I remember.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Just don't do a massive one. You know what I mean? Like, just do a normal one would be fine. Like, yeah, that was fine. But when you go massive, it's too much time. It's too much work. I got that recipe from my friend's Healthy Junk Food.
Really?
Yeah, they're one of my friends in Orlando. They also have a big channel.
Right. Okay. I'll have to check that out. The Healthy, like on YouTube.
Yeah, it's Healthy Junk Food, but it's not healthy. It's HELLTHY Junk Food.
Ah, okay.
So they put a little spin off. It's like
yeah.
Junk Food.
Yeah, but that's catchy. So yeah, I'll look that up. And by the way, for those watching or listening, like I'll link Nate's YouTube in the description and all that stuff, so you guys can click right on it and go take a look at some of these bomb videos. But yeah, bro, so we almost finished here, man. I know I can take you up. So I guess my last question, we'll end it with sneakers again, because I know we both are pretty fond of that. What's your feelings about the sneaker game right now in the process?
Well, sneakers are massive today. Like, you go back maybe 5, like sneakers has always been big, right? But I remember, like, even like 3 years ago, I remember I was able to walk into a Foot Locker and buy a pair of Jordan 1s because they were sitting. Like, you remember the Cement 3s that released like I think it was 3 years ago.
Yeah,
like 3 years. I walked into a Finish Line and I walked into a Foot Locker and they were sitting.
Right.
And I bought both pairs.
Dunks were like $60-$70. You could buy them at Journeys at one point. Like,
yeah, you used to be able to walk into the Nike outlets and Dunks would be sitting. Like, they're going to play the hell out of Dunks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, create, you know how many already this year, how many different colorways they're coming out with is insane. I'll never keep up with that. Like I'll just pick and choose ones that I like. But as far as like dunks, like it's just there's way too many. It's way oversaturated. Like not oversaturated, but it's oversaturating with dunks this year.
Travis Scott's fault.
Yeah, it is definitely Travis Scott's fault. The SBs they've come out with are all pretty fire.
Yeah.
Like that. And they don't come out with SBs all the time, right? SBs lately have been coming out like once a month or maybe twice or whatever. But like the regular dunks, I think they came out with like this month or last month, they come out with like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Or I think maybe even 8 regular dunks.
Hold on. I got my phone right here. So
there's a lot of them.
We got one. So they got 1, 2, 3. This is just for this month. 4, 5.
Oh, this month.
6, 7. 7 already for March.
That's insane.
Yeah,
that is insane. But I'm like, I love sneakers, right? And I love the community. Like I religiously watch like YouTube videos surrounding like the sneaker community. But I think like as far as like the cool factor of wanting to have showing off like how many like you have like for the resellers, I'm talking about like the resellers, like you saw Benjamin Kicks, he had like literally a room full of the trophy rooms, I think like maybe 200 something pairs. That's the part I really don't like about, people are all trying to flex like, they're a better reseller or, they got all their stuff early and all that stuff. Like I'm not really into that factor because it's also drives the aftermarket prices, which is the worst part, which is the most, I hate that the most part about the sneaker culture at the moment. But I'm always going to be like collecting sneakers. Like I've actually like I started collecting when I was, I think, in high school. Like I had a bunch of sneakers and I kind of like over time I stopped collecting, you kind of grow up. But I had a pair of 1985 Jordan 1s, the Chicago colorway, that my dad gave me when I was in the 7th grade. Or I'm sorry, not 7th grade. I think the 9th grade when I was going into high school. And I remember I wore them to school, right? And they were like 2 sizes bigger on me. So I stuffed them with socks and I wore them to school and people wanted to buy them off of me at that time.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm kind of the same way. I used to be like, it's my mom's fault. Like they used to dress me when I was a baby. Like, but at that time it was BKs, British Knights. I don't know if you heard about those, but I had like all the British Knights back then and everything. And my Nana made it bad for me too. Right. So did that. And I had shoes and then I kind of stopped. And I recently just got back in the game like 3 or 4 years ago, like really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it gets insane. But I get shoes that I like.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not really
that's
a
how it
hype
should be.
guy. You know what I mean? So like I got a lot of stuff like Prestos. I got some Asics, like gel light stuff. I get stuff that I like. I'm not really, I got Jordan 1s, but if I can't get the stuff that gets released, I don't care that much. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
There's more sneakers always coming out.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's crazy that you said that about as far as like the reselling. Because it really is got to the point now where it's just almost greed. Like a person like me, like I idolized Kobe. That was my favorite basketball player and everything. And when those Grinches came out,
yeah,
I'm like, yo, I'm a person who really would like, it's a nostalgia for me to have those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People, like you said, that are just buying all these. And the thing is, like, you're flexing something that you really aren't doing anything to do besides buying a bot and spending cash. Like, I don't understand that part of the code. It ain't like you went out like they used to and stood out front of a store for 4 hours to get them. You're literally at your computer ordering these things and like it's cool to flex it. Like it's the weirdest thing to me.
Yeah. I when those Grinches came out, I was never like a huge like Kobe fan because I didn't watch basketball. So, as hyped as those shoes were, the Grinches, I didn't get them because I felt like I didn't want to take somebody's opportunity away from trying to get something that they really liked. Like I'm a pick and choose guy, but I'm also somewhat of like, I'm like, I like the hype stuff too. Like there was one,
same.
Yeah, the trophy rooms. Like I was like, okay, so these are shoes I'm gonna get.
Right.
Like I already established that. Like if I don't get this retail, which nobody, like most people didn't, that I'm willing to spend aftermarket price on this. And I'm glad I did, because I didn't wait until they got up to like the money, the price they're at now.
Yeah. So crazy story. Talking to my homie, he works at Nike. He's a manager at a Nike store.
Yeah.
But he was on sneakers watching a live with Scoop Jackson.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, you guys got to pay attention to this live. We're going to ask some questions at the end. And if you answer right, you get exclusive access.
Okay.
The exclusive access was to trophy rooms
for
retail.
That's crazy.
My homeboy, he said the first question they asked was, who was last week's guest? I think it was Bodybuilder Garcia. So you got that right. The second question was like a Jordan question, like a shoe or something released. He got that right. The third question is like stupid. It was, who had more influence in the 90s on the shoe game, the Chicago Bulls or the Fab Five? Who would you answer that?
The Bulls.
You would answer the Bulls. Why? Because it's Jordan, right?
Yeah.
He answered Fab Five because he's like, the Bulls it's Jordan. It's not the Bulls. That's what his thought process is. So he got it wrong.
Yeah, the Bulls were in the 90s. The Bulls were how many champions did they win in the 90s? 5?
6.
6. They won 6, right? And that's when Jordan left and then came back.
Yeah.
Right. And then won another championship.
Yeah.
So like who else would you put in that category other than the Bulls?
So he picked the Fab Five, thinking that because they did influence the culture. That's like Michigan when they started wearing the long short in college.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody influenced like the 90s more than Jordan did.
Right, exactly. And so Scoop Jackson, so he missed out on the exclusive access to the trophy.
Damn.
Right. Because he answered that third one wrong. But Scoop Jackson was like, pretty much, guys, if Michael Jordan is attached to it, just pick it. Like he was like, next time, I don't care what the question is. If it's shoes and it's influence, pick Jordan. Like it's never gonna.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, he's kind of right, but bro, that's heartbreaking. So it was right there at his grasp for a trophy room. Retail.
I think Nike on the sneakers app, when they did the exclusive access for the trophy rooms, I think they only had, I think it was like $200 or $300, or I'm sorry, 200 or 300 pairs that were available, because the rest were being held at trophy room, and obviously most of them were backdoored.
Right. And there was a report, I don't know if it was here, but some guy won a raffle at a store, Shills. Okay. And went to go pick up his shoes, and like they weren't there, and it turns out like the workers were backdooring.
Oh yeah. That's what I mean? Okay. I gotta say, that's another thing that I can't stand, like as far as like the community, right? Because there's local skate shops around me, right?
Right.
That they hold raffles, but they are backdooring, and I'm the last person that accuses shops from backdooring. But this, the reason why I know this for a fact is because I follow, or I have checked out all the people that they are with, right?
Right.
Every single one of those people have multiple shoes of that shoe. Like when they did the Travis Scott dunks.
Yeah.
The Travis Scott dunks. And I get like, if I own a shop, right, I would definitely hook up my employees for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
for sure.
But, when the employees have multiple pairs, like, they're skating them, and then they have a walking pair, and then they have another pair, right? They skate their other pair, right? That's when I get kind of pissed, because first of all, those Travis Scott dunks were super limited, right? So they were probably getting, 21 pairs, if that, like the other shop near me only got, I think it was 12 pairs of the Travis Scott dunks. So like, and that shop, it's not only, that one employee, all of them have multiple pairs. And then, I'm sure they use the money, because I guess it's, if you think about it, like I'm a shop owner, let's say, the shop's not doing that great, whatever like that, I need that extra income. Like, that's that kind of challenges. Should I, do this? And I could just, nobody would ever know, that's one of those things. Like there's one shop that does SB dunks near me, Island Water Sports. I love them. I love them because they're super transparent. people always accuse them for backdooring, but they never backdoor any. They don't even give them to their employees, right? None of them. And like I said, I don't have a problem if they give them employees, but just give the public a fair chance. We're not just coming here wasting money because buying raffle tickets or buying your product, whatever like that, and not have a fair chance. Like the other place didn't have a fair chance, and they made you like you can buy as many raffle tickets as you want, but it's not going to anything.
Yeah,
you probably literally raffled off one shoe, but the other place they do the raffle through live stream, so they'll live stream it.
Yeah.
They'll pull the tickets. They'll put the names on it. They'll show you the invoice of how many pairs they got, right? And they go the distance with trying to be, I guess, transparent with consumers like us. But yeah, that's one thing I hate. Like backdooring is always going to exist, right? Because it's influenced by money, and like why would you sell this pair of sneakers for retail, make the I guess resale price from it, like they get it for cost. Let's say for example they get a dunk, they pay $40 for that dunk, and then they make $60 off that dunk through their shop, because I used to work at a skate shop. So and when I was an employee, like I used to get pairs for cost. So since I was an employee, the discount, if we got a pair of like Nikes, or if we got a pair of Americas or Etnies, right, and I wanted that pair of shoes as an employee, I can buy that shoe for the cost price, which would be like $50 off of like maybe $80 or $100.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't know. I really that's the only part I really dislike. That's another part I really dislike, the whole backdooring, because like people like us, we don't get a chance.
Oh,
right. Yeah.
My last thing. Unauthorized authentics. What is your thought process on those?
I mean, to each their own, I mean, I personally wouldn't buy a pair of like UAs.
Yeah.
I don't like, I guess the correct definition of UAs is like, if they're made in the same factory, right? But
they say, I don't believe that myself. Where's the proof that is the
case?
Yeah.
That's, I don't really believe that too. I don't know. Like for me, if you're gonna like, I guess if you're only buying the sneaker because of the hype that's surrounded by it, so you're willing to buy UA, but I would never want to wear that UA. Like if I had one, I would never want to wear it outside.
Right.
Like you would have it in your room. Like for me, if I bought a fake like Chicago Jordan 1, right?
Right.
Or an off-white Chicago Jordan 1, right? And it's a loud piece. And because you don't want to pay that, like, thousands of dollars for that, I would never wear that outside, because I would be too scared. Like, oh, there's some off, maybe I don't see it, but maybe somebody else sees it. I would never want to put that. Like, no, they're real. I don't want to like fake flex on somebody.
These UAs now are getting good. I ain't gonna lie, I've gotten trapped, not on purpose, but I've had somebody sell me fakes. And not realize it until I like went and looked back. And this is for people like y'all got to realize this, because there's a lot of guys who are taking advantage of people now with this UA thing. Guys, if trophy rooms are on StockX selling for $1 grand, two grand, and a guy is selling you a brand new pair for $250, they're fake.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, there's no way that makes sense. But I didn't realize that at first. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. Before the trophy rooms dropped, one of my buddies that I know locally here, we go to the same gym. So, he was connected with somebody, apparently getting him straight from trophy room.
Yeah.
And he asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you want a pair?" I'm like, are they like, this is before we knew about like the whole blue lace thing, or we didn't know what the blue lace was. We just saw that Marcus Jordan was showing it off. Right. So I asked him, well, I'm like, does it come in with the blue laces? He's like, I don't know. Let me ask. And apparently it didn't, because the blue laces they changed to, after you would get them from trophy room, but then they changed to friends and family, because the only people that got the blue laces were the people that got them from knowing somebody at trophy room. Because I know a few people, friends of mine, that got the blue laces because they were affiliated with trophy room, or they knew. See, there's this guy, his name is I forgot his name on IG. but he was the one that was pretty much getting all the influencers the trophy rooms for retail.
Right.
He would just say, hey, give me your information. You know, the day that they had the raffle, the email raffle, they would get the email saying, hey, here's your invoice, and then just pay for it, and they'd get it with the blue laces.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if I had those blue laces, I wouldn't rock the blue laces.
Oh, I didn't like the way they looked, but it's whatever.
No, I ended up switching out I have the turbo grains, right, that are dead stock still. I took the cream laces from those and I put it in the trophy rooms. I still haven't worn them. I don't know when I'm going to wear those trophy rooms. I probably won't for a while.
Right, for sure. All right, man. I don't want to hold you too much longer, bro. I appreciate you being on here.
Yeah, man, it was cool. I appreciate you for having me, man.
Yeah, this was fun. So for all those, like I said, I'll link his stuff in there so you can go ahead and click on it, support, watch the videos. You got anything else before we end it?
You know, let's do this again sometime. I'll go ahead and share this on I'll put it on my like my IG story and make it clickable if anybody's interested with that too.
Sure. So what I do, hold on, let me go ahead and end this. So I'll go ahead and end this, guys. Y'all have a good one.